afternoon, and welcome to the second session of IM Network. We are in round 2 of how to communicate with clarity and confidence. And today I'm going to talk to you about adjusting the lens. As we deal with our new normal, I will take you through a few tips on how to survive in our new times. As we start, I'd like you to think about your new normal. What are some of the changes you're going through? For some of us, it is job restructuring. For others, unfortunately, they have lost their jobs. Many who have jobs are also adjusting to the change of work environment, which also include working from home. Not to mention the travel restrictions, since we cannot leave our counties, and lack of freedom, because we're also stuck in our houses. What kind of emotions come with that? We are bound to feel sad, be worried or anxious, fearful because we don't know the future, and also face insecurity because you don't know how long your job will last and you don't have any guarantees about tomorrow. To top that all off, we are all feeling very confined in this situation. So I'd like to give you my story because I also went through many of these emotions, even before COVID. Towards the end of last year, I was very excited and looking forward to a new appointment, when suddenly the job was canceled. So you can imagine my disappointment and frustration and just all the bad feelings that come with losing a job. And I went through all these emotions. I was fearful because I didn't know about tomorrow, and also worried what would happen to my future. So today I would like to take you through a few tips on how you can also navigate your way through our new normal. Change. Change is described to be an act or process through which something becomes different. And we are all experiencing this change in COVID. I would like us to change our perspective and not just think about the negative effects of change, but what positivity can we bring about through this experience? Coping with change is often difficult, but remember, you can adjust and adapt to any change in your life. I would like to leave you with 3 take-home messages for today. The first is that you have to accept the emotions that come with unprecedented change. So like I shared with you, when I went through my job loss last year, I had feelings of sadness, feelings of frustration, feelings of anger, but I had to accept those feelings and come to terms with them. The second one is I had to face my fears, because if we are to move ahead, we have to acknowledge the situation we're in. And lastly, for us to get out of that dark state, we have to become resilient. I would like to bring to you the words of the famous spiritual author, Iyanla Vanzant, who reminds us that everything that happens to us is a reflection of what we believe about ourselves. We cannot outperform our level of self-esteem. We cannot draw to ourselves more than we think we are worth. So what she's trying to tell us is that if we think of negativity, then that is likely to happen. If we think of something positive, we are likely to also become positive. So I ask you, what is the most important thing in your life? For me, it is my family, work, hobbies, and I'm also learning the importance of mental health and physical health. In our last session, Joanne reminded us how we need to take care of ourselves and our bodies. As much as we all hate exercising, it's very important. And in the same way, mental health is equally important. And as you're doing all these activities, remember, the most important person is you. I would like to encourage you to rise above your worries and fears. Live in the present moment rather than worrying about the doom and gloom of a future that may never happen. Statistics show that 70% of the things that we worry about never even happen. I have learned that when I start to get worried or anxious, I go outside and take a walk, bake a cake, blast loud music, or just spend time playing with my son. Snap out of your self-pity party and change your perspective about your situation. Acknowledge that COVID has given each and every one of us an opportunity for self-reflection and to focus on the things that really matter. So you may ask me, what should I do? I will tell you to take control of your emotions. When you're feeling bad, try to do something positive. Like for me, I listen to inspirational speakers, or I try to just have positive thoughts and not think negatively. And through all this, you'll realize that you have reprogrammed your mind. You also need to believe in yourself, because if you do not believe in yourself, no one else will. And explore the limitless opportunities that life has waiting for you. The last weapon you need to use is resilience. So I ask you, who is your all-time hero? For me, Nelson Mandela has taught me to focus on the bigger goal. I think about how he spent 27 years in prison, and he would not have made it if he did not elevate his mind and think beyond his present circumstance. So today I ask you, what is stifling your productivity? I would like to leave you with the words of a famous radio personality who is called Michael Baisden, who tells us, if you're not prepared to be a disruptor, then you are not serious about change. The famous billionaire Richard Branson, who owns the Virgin Group, also reminds us not to get tired, but to be relentless. He says that positivity can only be created when people with all kinds of talents and skills work together to create positivity in the world. I challenge you today to break out of your prison cell and explore the limitless opportunities life has waiting for you. Over to you, Joanne.
Thank you, Akacho. Thank you for that wonderful presentation about being resilient, The one thing that struck me in the presentation was to maximize today while looking about for future opportunities. It's about rising above. Imagine Mandela, who was in the same cell for 27 years and being able to think that he can rise out of that. Imagine from that to becoming the president of his country. Imagine the mental frame of mind that he had to do that. I think it's a good challenge to us that we rise above our circumstances or whatever we are going through right now and be able to focus on where we want to be. It does not determine where you are going to go. When you set your mind to it is where you'll get there actually. Yeah, so don't feel discouraged at your current situation. Okay, so we're going to do poll 2 before I move on to our next founder, Miss Paloma. We're going to have the second poll, which is on the timing of the sessions. We want to get your input as to the timing. You notice that we are doing it from noon to 1. Give us your feedback for the next 1 minute or so. And here starts. There it goes. For those who are joining us for the first time, this is I Am Network. We confounded it with Miss Paloma and Miss Akacho when we realized that we enjoy guiding the younger people at heart, but we've also found that the friends of the youth tend to join us as well. So, karibuni sana, those of us who are in that category. So, yeah. That is the spirit behind I Am Network. And the sessions are once a month, at least, or every 3 weeks on different subjects. There are training modules that are available into 3 segments. There is one on leadership and change, another one on communication, and another one on productivity. Yes, we are almost done with the poll. Good work, good work. The speed is much better. Asanteni sana. Tunashukuru. A few more people to go. If you have not clicked, please click. If you have not clicked, please click. We will share the results. We will share the results so that you can see where we all lie. Okay. Questions are also welcome. Put on the chat. Questions are also welcome on the chat. And comments also. Feel free to interject, unmute yourself and interject when you have something to say. All right, in the next 15, it will end. All right. Okay, so poll ended. Thank you very much for your feedback. Very important to us, and we appreciate it. Help us to help you. Okay, so now we move on to our next founder, Miss Paloma Gatabaki, to take us through her session. Karibu sana, Paloma.
Great. Joanne, thank you very much. And a very, very good afternoon to you all. And thank you once again for joining us on this I Am Network. My name is Paloma Gatabaki. Now, when we began our inaugural session on communicating with confidence and clarity last month, Joanne, Akacho, and I, we realized that the 1 hour we had with you was not sufficient to exhaust the subject. So we decided to split it into 3. So then that's why we are calling the second session, round 2, adjusting the lens. Now, as Akacho has so eloquently espoused in her presentation, the very, very idea of adjusting our own lens can leave us caught between many probabilities, concerns, and possibilities. It's very clear that the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to unleash its torment upon us, has forced the majority of us to slow down. But it has also allowed us to re-examine our professional, our academic, and our personal lives. And if you think about it, it's a good thing. It really is. I mean, all the hours that we're spending with ourselves makes us think about ourselves. So now we are putting ourselves on the top of our own priority list. Yeah. So the first thing I'd like to share with you or think about, I'd like you to think about is the self-examination that you're going through. And again, this is a very, very key step in helping us to communicate with ourselves and to communicate with others, so that you can get that aspect going very well. Now, one immediate thought as we were discussing the subject, and that kept on coming back to me, and how do I share it, was for me the evolution of my spectacle life, my glasses, all throughout the years, and how it affected my communication levels and my confidence levels. Now, I started wearing glasses in standard 3. Standard 3. Some may want to say it. Now, my dad chose the frame for me. And this guy went all out, you know, he was eagerly thinking, hey, what is the best frame for my daughter? You have no idea what he picked out. He picked out brown horn-rimmed frames. Yani, glasses for Shosho and Maito and all those other guys. So he was thinking it's an intellectual look. But can you imagine a standard 3-year-old, 7-year-old with brown horn-rimmed glasses? Can you imagine what it did to my self-confidence and to my being? So despite how many times actually I tried to break them, and believe me, I really did try to break them, these things were made of more than titanium. They were unbreakable. And it also reflected in my grades, in my grades and in my well-being. So I developed a stammer because I was always looking down, because I was very ashamed of the look and of the feel. Now, my second frame in standard 4 was marginally better. And I think it has to do with my class teacher just talking to my dad a little bit. So my dad then got me a yellow frame. A yellow frame. Then standard 5, a red frame. But my grades vastly improved in class. Yeah. And I also got control over my stammer that I had developed. So the older I got, and with my dad letting go of the reins of choosing my frame, that I would be seen wearing every waking moment of my life, there was a reflective graduation of my grades, of my clarity of speech, and also in my confidence levels. So as I reflect on this period, the adjusting of my lens, of my spectacle lens, without and with my knowledge, it shaped and continues to shape the current me. So I will thus reiterate, self-examination is very, very key in building your confidence levels. So look deep within and see what lens you need to adjust to boost your personal confidence. And I promise you this, from my own experience, this will be all the better for you. Now, the second thing is your reading, your writing, and your watching habits. Now, these impact heavily on both your written and unwritten communication. So allow me to go back to my brown horn-rimmed childhood days. So hiding from the world, you know, I immersed myself in reading. Everything and anything I was allowed to read on. Every Saturday, my parents would take my siblings and I to the bookstore every Saturday. And we'd be able to pick out, we had a choice, we'd be able to pick out a book. So it was either a comic, it was either a Nancy Drew, a Hardy Boys, a Famous Five, you know, graduating along the lines as we grew up. But we were always given a book to choose from. Now, for me, I actually finished the book, reading the book that same day. So then I had to go and look at my sister's book, my brother's book, and see what they were reading, and then take it up. Then when I was done with that, that was probably by Monday, then I would go down to the school library. And if the school library was not available, or whatever I wanted to read, then I would go to my dad's library. Now, in that process, I then started writing quite a bit. So I started writing poems. I started copying down poems. And for me, the thing was, why do the rhymes and the rhythms, why do they merge together? Why do they work? Why do certain works work together and others don't? Then my parents realized this gift that I had, and so too did my teachers in school. My dad then went a step further, and he started cutting out newspaper clippings and then asking me to read them out aloud. And then from there, he started then giving me articles that were submitted for his news magazine to start editing and to start correcting anything that was wrong in terms of the wording, if there was a misspelling or something of the sort. So this enabled me to craft, to understand even the written word. So while I was suffering in the spoken word, I was getting very, very well with the written word. And the immersion with the written word helped me develop my skills as a writer, as a sub-editor, as an editor, and then as a publisher. And as you may well know, the newsprint world has constricted, it's getting smaller. And so I had to look out into the world. And then I landed my first gig as a producer of a major political show on a national network. So this leads me to, what did I view on the TV? Now, my siblings and I were allocated an hour a day during the week to watch TV, and this was in addition to the news bulletins. Now, our range of viewing then was The Voice of Kenya. Some of you, as Joanne has said, the young at heart will remember The Voice of Kenya. You can even see the semicircles all around the V, OK. And I think you can even, with me, do the toot, toot, toot. This is V, OK. Now that was our viewing. But I must say, even as they started at first at 4 p.m. and then at 12, they had such a beautiful range of child development programs, yeah, and the participatory element of it. Now, we may have a good laugh about their paucity and their graphics, lack of them, but the hosts, the presenters, they were so articulate, they were so well dressed, they were so well groomed, and even more so, they were so passionate about their craft, and in particular, the spoken word. And this, it really rubbed off on me. Now we have an exceptional array of networks of viewing channels to view, but I urge you to choose very, very carefully on what you view, on what you want to get out of it. Subconsciously, this will have a voice in your spoken and your unspoken communication style. So adjust your broadcast lens. Third and finally, if I may, I'll speak about the social media footprint. Now, if you missed out on our last session, I delved on this quite a bit. And so you can pick it up on our Facebook page, the IM Network Facebook page. And there are quite a number of clips, the whole view of what we all talked about there, and a couple of clips there. But just this week, last week actually, I was going through my Twitter, and I came across what I would describe as, quite frankly, a very inappropriate Twitter exchange. And it was between a prominent a politician and what we'd call a socialite. Now, the reason I noticed it was that it had been trending for a couple of days, and even the news sites had picked it up. But I've got to ask you this. What makes something, anything, trend on Twitter? What makes anything trend on Twitter? Yeah, it's the number of likes, the retweets, and the commentary around that topic, that said tweet, that makes it trend. Now, after these two protagonists tweeted their 2 or 3 tweets, it is people like you and I, Kenyans on Twitter, who picked up the thread and took it to the #1 trending levels. But here's my thing. But what was their initial content? And even as you viewed it, you liked it, you retweeted, and you commented about it, is it something that you can be proud of? Should we be proud of the tag, Kenyans are the worst bullies on Twitter in the world, by the UN Office of Drug and Communication and Drug and Crime? Should we be proud of that tag? When your potential employer, friend, and even lecturer visits your handle, what will they see? What will they see? Just because others are doing it doesn't mean that you have to join the mob. Please adjust your social media lens. I think with that, Joanne Akacho, I can hand back to Joanne.
Thank you, Paloma. Thank you very much for your presentation and for taking us through how to adjust our lenses on the communication side of life. A few good things you've highlighted there is we should not despise our beginnings. You can imagine from the dates of newspaper clippings to now being a producer. Yes, it started somewhere. It did not just, it was cultivated from when you were much younger to where you are now. To all the members who are listening in, don't despise where you have begun. If your parents are telling you to do one thing or the other, you know, it sounds interesting when they are bringing you a Famous Five or a Hardy Boys. I'm also guilty. My mom is also guilty of giving us those books. So it improves even your language, how you write your letters, how you communicate. It literally does. So do not despise those humble beginnings and use them to your benefit. So there are a couple of other polls to go, but I also want to read some comments or questions that have been given. We have one question for Akacho from Winnie. She has asked, she agrees that the steps around acceptance, facing fears, and resilience are key to setting yourself up to moving on. Also equally important is taking actions which most people find challenging. What insights can you provide on this, Akacho?
To know you could resonate with my presentation. So I agree that taking actions is challenging. And I think what many of us are learning, and I think even as you're seeing what's going on around the world, like with the hashtag Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, is life does not wait for you just to sit around, but you have to actually stand for something. And as I gave those quotes, I was thinking about some of the prominent leaders we've had in Kenya. For example, we have nationalists like Tom Mboya. We also know Wangari Maathai. And without their radical activism, or without whatever they believed in terms of fighting for this country, nobody would have remembered them. So I think for us, I also think about how will history remember us? So that for me is a motivator on its own, that I don't just want to be remembered as a Kenyan who just went to school, you know, you looked for work, and then, you know, your life, no one even remembers what you did. But my challenge to all of you is tap into your talents, because we all have talents. And if you feel like you need motivation, also get mentors, get people who have been through that experience, people who have walked that journey, because nobody has got to where they are in terms of success without bumps on the road. So for me, my encouragement to you is just surround yourself even with positive people. For us, like Joanne has shared, we are also available for one-on-one sessions. So if you feel like you want to talk to any one of us, we're here and available to guide you. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Akacho. Paloma, you want to comment on it as well?
No, I'm not going to touch that because Akacho has done such a fantastic job. I think I was
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I also wanted to thank Adele. Adele is complimenting the presentation that Mandela indeed epitomized it, and it is very, very true. I also want to comment a little bit on Winnie's question about how we take actions. You need to have what we call an accountability person. I mentioned it in our last presentation, that when you find somebody who can hold you accountable, it can be a family member, it could be a friend of yours, somebody who will hold you to it, that you have a goal, you have a vision, you want to try and achieve it, and you take it through bite-sized steps. As you take your bite-sized steps, you will also get motivated, you will get the confidence needed, and slowly, you will find that you have actually achieved that big thing that you are thinking about. Yeah, so Bernard also had a query about I Am Network. It is open to both gents and ladies. Feel free for the gentlemen to join. I mean, do we call it coincidence that we landed as 3 women founding I Am Network, but the mentors, even, and some of the forces behind us are some great men behind there. So we have a good array of network of people. So feel free, if it is mentoring, they are available. I want to go into the third poll very quickly. Very quickly, we do the third poll on the suggested topics. Okay, we are going to run it for about 2 minutes and start now. If you find that the topic is not covered, feel free to put it on the chat box. All right. Comment on the topics. If you find that it is not put there, please feel free to put it on the chat box if it is not captured. All right, let's keep going. Well done. We're doing well. Okay, suggested topics are time management, etiquette, personal change management, communication, goal setting, and leadership in action. All right. Almost. You're doing well. Asanteni sana for being a very good audience. Thank you for being very good and very cooperative. Almost done. A few more to go. A few more clicks. A few more. We've got about 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go. All right, 30 seconds to go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Done. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Let's see what, oh wow, Edel, you can see as a mother why you're going to the libraries often with the kids, and you can see the effect it has on the children. Wonderful. Must be friends of youth. But welcome sana. Asante sana. All right. Someone, Mboro wants to understand the ethos of our meetings. The ethos of our meetings. Paloma?
Boro, when you did the poll, what age group did you sign off on? No, for real. When we put together I Am Network, the belief is that when we were growing up, we did not have people to guide us, to guide us through the entire process, through our academic and our professional lives. And so there are a lot of missteps that we had. So given that, we wanted to, given our experiences, we wanted to craft a platform that we can help with our own experiences, guide and mold the generation of now. And if you notice on our logo, we say, my time is now. The youth are always told your time is tomorrow, the future, but no. Our time is now. So we want to give our experiences today that we had in the past, so that you can be able to learn from that and factor them into you today, so that you can improve you today and therefore your future. So that was the ethos behind our I Am network. Now, I Am, even if you look at it, it's a circle. And the circle involves everyone around you. So pick and choose all the people around you, and all the experiences will help mold you into the I Am that you want to be. Joanne?
Okay, thank you, thank you. I want to say thank you. There are a few others who have suggested some very good topics. One is living intentionally. Another one is personal financial management. Another one is how to build your personal brand. And another one on youth and relationships. Thank you very much, because as Paloma is saying, even I was molded by having mentors, having people who hold your hand and tell you, yes, you can do this, yes, you can do this, and for this reason or the other. Mentors never run out. There is no age that you don't need a mentor. Even at our age right now, we do have a few people that we call. Yeah, they are higher than us. Is not even probably. They are higher than us, either in family or in the office or in business. In every section of your life, you would need a mentor. It is good. It is healthy, because you stop feeling overwhelmed, and you stop feeling like, you imagine that you don't know how to proceed. But with a mentor, they will hold your hand and tell you, you know what, it's fine. What you're going through is not strange. It's not queer. It is okay. And it is okay at the phase of life that you're in, or whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, karibu sana, and we will keep going at it. I think I have one more poll to run before we do this, and then I will come back to the comments. One more poll. I want to capture this one, and don't get offended about this one. It's about our ages. Just feel free. It is we want to see where we are at. It started for another minute. For another minute, where do you lie? Where do you lie? We want to see. Okay. Where do you lie? And if it's not there again, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Paloma. Feel free to put it in the chat box. Umar, it's okay. Friends of youth. We are together. Friends of youth, Umar, don't worry. It is quite fine. And karibu sana. Karibu sana, karibu sana. A few more people to go. Do not feel shy to comment. Do not feel you will not be judged at all. You will not be judged at all. This is a free forum where we are here to learn from each other. We are here to learn from each other. Oh, that's a nice joke. Somebody has put a joke that our CV will not be destroyed with the years. I think after a certain age, the years they are loved the way they are. All right, 15 more seconds. A few more people have not answered. Kidogo tu. Kidogo tu. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, poll ended. Okay. Edel has asked a question. Is it Edel or Edna? 1 second. Edna, sorry. Edna. How does one become a member of I Am Network? Is there membership fees? How do you help one to get a mentor? And also mentorship as a topic. Akacha?
You can hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for that question. So I know people are asking what is the objective of this group. Probably to give you some background, we only started last month. So this is our second session. But what we are going to be doing is every 3 weeks, we will now have this Zoom session. So So you can say like once a month, we'll be having this group session that is free. So you don't need to pay membership. But now for the one-on-one sessions with the mentors, we're offering you a session of 6 weeks. It's a 6-week session where you will meet the 3 of us based on the topics that Joanne mentioned, which we can also share with you again at the end. So it's like a coaching session where you spend 1 hour per week with your coach. And so, for example, if it's like your CV that you need help with, or if you're preparing for an interview, we can help you now go through your CV, practice for the interview, do the presentation. If, for example, you want help with leadership, for example, we have a course on leadership. So the charges now for the 6-week course is 6,000 shillings. And of course, if you want more tailored sessions, we can adapt them based on your needs. So the way we would know how to work with you is we have a needs assessment tool. So you fill in the tool, then we identify your gaps, and then now we know how to work on the areas that you need strengthening. For people who have asked how can they be linked with the mentor, we also have a database of mentors. So based on your field or your area, for example, some of you might be studying law, or some of you maybe want to talk to a doctor, or somebody who's more specialized, then we can now link you up with that person who can also provide you guidance. So as Paloma had said, we are here as a platform. We are here to help each other. It's not like, it's not really based on a business, but based more on helping the community and also giving back, because for us, we have worked for quite a number of years. So we can also help you as you're also trying to build and develop your career. Joanne, you could also add.
Okay, yes. We are determined to help. As we said before, we are where we are because of the few people who are behind us. So we want to do the same. We want to make sure that even the next generation, you will also be able to help. The joy for us will be to see that not only have we helped you, but you help another one and you help another one as you continue growing. And of course, after that, it means society will continue to be a better place for all of us. So if that can happen, it is our joy. It is our joy. Yeah, so Edel, thank you for the statistics. Yes, you're a mom. And karibu sana, now you can understand where we are coming from when we want to help children. A few of us are mothers. Even I am a mother of 3 daughters. So I do understand where you're coming from too, Edel. Okay, so I want to share for us the poll results so that you are able to see. I will start with the most interesting one, which is the age group. Can we see? We have seen ourselves? Akacho?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, yep. Good. That's one. Another one. For those who want to see the mentors, most of you say yes, you want mentors. A few people said no, which is okay. We said it's a free country. Okay, the next one, the timing of the sessions. Most of us landed on Fridays. TGIF things, perhaps. In our days, we used to call it TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So yeah, most of us are on Friday at 12 to 1. So it looks like it will win the day. Okay, on the topics, there are the topics. It's quite an interesting tie. Almost everything has someone or the other. The one that is low is on etiquette. It still has a few members there who would be interested in learning about etiquette, but most are there. The highest is leadership in action, which is a good thing because it also shows that you're aspiring to grow. And aspiring to grow means that you want to be leaders wherever you are. Okay. So yeah, that is that. Okay. All right. Any question, comment, clarification? Question, comment, clarification? All right, our contacts are on the screen. Our email address is iamnetwork@gmail.com. Our telephone number is 0754 519 337. We have one question from Joash. How do we subscribe for updates? Paloma?
Thanks, Josh. I was just looking through the chat box, and it seems that there are a lot of similar questions there. But as Joanna said, and as Akacha has also mentioned, I'll direct you back to our Facebook page, which is I Am Network. You can like it there, then you'll get a lot of the updates that are happening there. We're also posting, because of our networks, a lot of jobs that we do get onto that page. So if you just get onto Facebook and get on, and you'll see it there. We're also launching very soon, by the next time we do round 3, is our YouTube channel as well. So then you'll be able to see the long clips and the short clips of what we have discussed. Now there's something I found a question there, or it's not even a question, it's actually a commentary from Adele Sakawa. You are 42 years old and you're a mother of 4 kids. Wow. Amazing. 16 and 7 years old. How are you handling the COVID issues? And of course, you're training from home. How are you adjusting the lens that your children are no longer in school, but you are the one, you're watching over what they're doing during the day? I don't know if Adele, you can unmute your mic and answer, give us some feedback on that.
Well, I would say it's about organization. My kids are in 2 phases. So I have the bigger ones who handle themselves, and then I have the small ones. And apparently all of them have online classes from 7:30 to 3:30, the big ones. So the big ones I don't supervise a lot because they supervise themselves. The small ones are the ones that I haggle with, but we are managing. We are managing. Yeah.
But what is it doing to yourself? Like, how are you, what time are you giving to yourself? Where are you on your priority list?
Okay, so now the worst thing that happens to me is I'm a late nighter. I don't know if it's a worst thing or, you know, it's a bad habit.
I'm going to wait on that one because I am also a night person.
Yeah, so what I do in the morning hours, like from about 8:30 to about midday, I dedicate it with the small ones. But then when I'm there with them, I'm also on my laptop working. Well, I'm lucky to have been a person who works from home, so it's a lot easier. So the other ones, they're normally in the study room, so them they can continue. And interestingly, I haven't had a house help for the last 4 years. So, well, everyone manages themselves. Yeah. Then there's also time for play. They also go for play. They have breaks. Yeah. It's not easy, but we have tried. Yeah. We've gotten so used to it now.
Okay. So that was even before the seclusion of the COVID-19, that you had already pangered everyone.
Yes.
Everyone had known their own roles.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what was the topic that you suggested that we should focus on?
Oh, I suggested on personal change management, was it? Personal change development. Because I feel I'm at a point where it's very weird. I know people want to move from employment to start their own businesses. But I'm at the point of doing the reverse. So I know it's weird, but I don't know if it's wrong and if it's right, but I just feel like maybe I need to do it because I really got into entrepreneurship when I was pretty young.
Mhm.
Sometimes I feel like I missed some gaps on, just to build on networks and to develop myself on the area of my study. The reason why I would like to learn more about personal change management.
Well, thank you, Adele, and hopefully that you'll engage with us more. You can call us, you can email us, and we have the contacts there, and we can be able to help you out there. Because again, even with myself, my story is also pretty much similar to yours in terms of I worked, outside of the employment, the what do you call the employment sector. So I worked with my dad, and then I'm now going back into a sector where it's they're you're so used to your timings, your things, because you can deliver your deliverables, whereas when you go back to the job sector, they're all about the 8 to 5 and what have you. They just want you sitting at the desk and things like that. So being able to transition was always my problem, and it's something Joanne and Akacho and I can help you on, because we do have our personal experiences with the same.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I'm gonna look up for you.
Definitely. We look forward to you. I saw another question.
Hope I'm not too old.
Oh, not at all. We are all the same age.
Friends of youth.
I'll give it back to Joanne. I think there was someone.
Thank you. Joash asked about subscribing for updates. I think that's been addressed by Paloma. If you subscribe to the I Am Network Facebook page, it will send you everything that is happening. Even the meeting reminders, Mboro, those meeting reminders happen when we set the event. It will give you a flag on Facebook. As Paloma mentioned, we are going into other social media pages. In YouTube, we will be there. Even Instagram, it's work under progress. So feel free to reach out for those sessions. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have been quite a good and beautiful audience. Oh, yes. There's one question, somebody who's just joined us. She's missed the session. Yes, we were recording, so we will also load that. For those who missed the last session, it was also loaded on the Facebook page. You can go and see session 1 on communicating with clarity and confidence. You can see. The hosts didn't bracket their age. Oh, that is humor, Mr. Bernard. Mr. Bernard, we fall under the category of the friends of the youth. Let's give you an idea. But we are young at heart, so we help the younger ones. All right, so the next session will be on Friday, July 17th. Friday, July 17th. Mark your calendars. We shall be together at that time. Same time, you have seen your wish is our command. We shall maintain Friday at noon. Friday at noon it is. So asanteni sana. Feel free to reach out, whether it is via the Facebook page. Invite your friends to join us. The more of us we help, the better it is. I think we will make a good difference to our city and our nation. All right, so thank you very much. I want to close our meeting today with a quote there by Mr. Nelson Mandela. Okay. There is a quote by Mr. Nelson Mandela. One second.
Joanne, before you close.
Yes.
There was some, Umar had a couple of points, interesting points. I think you can, I was going through what he was saying. Well, he obviously asked how I think we obviously mentioned it, about how do we subscribe and everything else, as well as Bernard as well. I think Akacho also told him about it. We are a 3-part series for communication, as well as that. Kate Gate, CG Gate. I don't know if you're still on.
We are.
Do you do that, Kate? CG Gate?
CG
Are you
Gate.
still on? Yeah. Are you on?
I can't see CG Gate.
Is she on? I like what she actually said. But also there was Ruth Karaoke on personal finance management, and I wanted to touch on that a bit, and maybe Akacho, you can, and obviously Joan, because this is your area of expertise. Is Ruth still on?
Ruth Karaoke. Yes.
Yeah, if you're on, can you unmute your mic and give us a bit of something? Joan is our guru on finance management. Yes, you can unmute and you can speak to us.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, I am on. I would personally, I am a friend of the youth, but I would like that kind of topic to discuss. And also, I can also add to it. I'm a finance professional.
Oh, you're in the
Okay.
finance profession.
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's good. With the same finance, of course, different age groups have different. Do we call them needs, wants, requirements? More or less. So depending on the age bracket, what would be your suggestion, Ruth?
Well, hello. I
Yes.
know that right now people are going through a lot of issues with their finances. So it will be more discussing what the COVID-19, how to survive through it in,
Okay.
in your house, in your homes, and everything.
Okay.
Something around.
Okay. Being the resilience in COVID-19, but in the financial side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the context.
Thanks, Ruth.
I think we should have some gender balance. At least one of the men can speak. I see a few men on the call.
Bernard, I think Bernard is a chatter. Bernard, what have you gotten out of our session? You can unmute your mic.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good
Do you hear
afternoon.
me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can.
Okay. I've just enjoyed your presence after getting to know more of I am on Facebook. That's where I got in the link. And that's why you see in my starting, I was almost scared to see only ladies. I didn't see man. So I almost ran away. But thank you. At least I want to know more on leadership. Many of us, we need to grow in leadership skills. And that is my desire. I want to lead the nation where it's supposed to be in the right way. Otherwise, I'm blessed.
Bernard, what sector are you in?
I'm employed. Currently, I'm working in a coconut industry in Kilifi.
Okay.
Coconut oil industry in Kilifi County.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just came recently from the tea sector.
Oh,
Ah,
wow.
well, we are. I'm a tea drinker.
Now change to coconut oil. Maybe I send you coconut oil for you to smear yourself and drink also.
Fantastic. We are grateful for those things. But what did you pick out from our presentation today?
Yeah, in the presentation, I don't know how I can comment generally, but let me say I've enjoyed the presentation. In the next session, I'll give my comment.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Joan?
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you. Anybody else with a comment or clarification? Mburu, do you want to comment?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon, Mburu.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I was invited by a close friend who's here. That's Paloma.
Yes.
And I am happy to have heard everything that was discussed. I think it's a good idea because now that we are not working from the office very much, we are spending more time with our kids. We need to also help them with some of the things that I've learned here. How to communicate clearly, how to read more, like Paloma said. My kids don't read that much. And more importantly, is I'm involved in mentoring some youth, more in the Rotary circles. They're called Rotaractors. So I'm also going to build my content from here. So this is a great forum.
Yeah. Thank you, Mburu. Thank you, Mburu.
Welcome.
Yes,
Great,
Josh.
great
Hi.
Hi.
I'm blessed to have this session today.
Yes.
And maybe my concern will come with some of us are employed, some of us are employers.
Yes.
I'll speak on the employer side.
Yes.
How do you deal? Okay, I'll speak on both sides, employer and employee side. How do you deal with communication matters in terms of modes to your employers and employer modes to employees?
Just to see if we understand correctly, employer moods to the employees and employee moods to the employers.
Exactly.
All right. Paloma?
That is, I don't think I've ever heard that one before. That's an interesting one, is it? Because Josh, is it? Are you asking the question because of the COVID-19 times or just on a general field?
It is on a general scale.
Okay. I personally use the rule that treat others how you want to be treated. So if you as an employer are treating people pretty harshly, then expect to be treated the same way. And as an employee, I also look at the character of my employer. And I don't know, I think it might be a generalization, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you notice in some organizations that they take on the character of their CEO. So if their CEO is rather brash, then the line that goes down, everyone becomes brash, and then it also affects even your personal life. So when you go home, how you treat your spouse, how you treat anyone around you, it mirrors that. So do unto others what you'd have them do unto you. I think that is, it is, and it will reflect, and you can see it. You can see it everywhere else. Like even like if the CEO, for example, talks very well to the askari at the gate, even that askari at the gate is so nice to the person who's coming in because of the character he has embodied. He has taken in the character of the person. So do unto others what you have wanting them to do unto you.
I think I can also add.
Thanks.
Based on last session, which you can check online, there's somebody who gave a comment about.
I see.
There's somebody who gave a comment about not trusting their supervisor and not trusting their boss. So I think it goes both ways. That, for example, if you're not open with your employee, they're not likely to trust you or, share with you. So you may find people are going through problems. They're not willing to talk to the employer. So I think even for you as an employer, you should also think about how to build trust in your team. And at times, even other companies, they do team buildings, they do activities that are outside of work. Not all the time, people don't want to be working all the time. Sometimes, people just want to relax also. And that's when you can also get other side of, seeing your employees. And I think where I talked about mental health is we don't realize how much stress we go through. For example, Adele mentioned now not having a house help. For mothers, it's very stressful if you're supposed to go to the office and no one is taking care of your people at home. I think for fathers, it can also be stressful if you don't have a caregiver in the house. So life is beyond just going to the office and doing work. I think that's what we're all learning through this process. And we also said last time, we should all come out better people out of this season. So when we go back to work or back to normal, we should become better people and the same better employers and better employees. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks much.
You're welcome, Josh, and thank you for the question. Okay. All right, I agree with the Paloma about the golden rule. That's a golden life rule, actually, about doing unto others. It is there in customer service. It is there. It's a general good life rule that if you can do unto others as you'd want to be done unto. So if we lived that principle, even not only in the offices, even at home, I think 3/4 of our life struggles would not be there in the first place. Yeah. So asante sana for our attendance. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We wish you well a million times over. Feel free to reach out to us. Our last quote for the day is by Nelson Mandela, as I had mentioned before, that everyone can rise above the circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. We can rise above our circumstances and achieve success if we are dedicated and passionate about what we do. We need to be passionate and we need to be dedicated. I wish you well. I wish you a good afternoon. It's Friday. Happy Friday, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Kwaheri.
Thank you. Kwaheri. Thank you. Bye.